Shalom, shalom, all praises to Yahweh, Bashem Yahushai, the honors to the apostles and the others, great millstone, shalom to the elect, Bashem Rachak. My name is Jacob from Plaintables camp, and it says correction, the Crusaders were Israelites. Yeah, because the original kings of Europe, after the diaspora, or during the diaspora, from the different, captivities, our people moved into Europe and to Africa. And so when you look up the artwork for the Dark Ages before the Renaissance artwork, you'll see the images are dark images. All right. So if those images were dark images, we know those kings, the ruling body of many, if not all, those European countries or principalities or areas, they were ruled by so-called black people. All right, and we know that by the artwork and by the there's a prophecy says the scepter shall not depart from Judah. All right, so we got So he starts going into it, but the error is, the Crusades would have to be, the Crusaders would have to be Israelite. It doesn't mean that 100% of the soldiers were Israelites, but the ruling body were. They definitely were. Those kings, those dukes, rulers of landowners that were in Europe during those times, those were Israelites.
I had another statistic for you. This going into what you were saying about how the so-called white man, the Edomites, teased that's in the society today. I just Googled how many people the Christians killed during the Crusades.
The original Christians were Israelites. The Christianity was originally spread by other Israelites. All right, and then you had other groups that adopted or came into the fold of Israelite Christians, right? Because Israelite Christians accepted people that were not Israelites into the worship of the Messiah. All right.
And it says approximately 1.7 million people were killed by the Crusade, died as a result of the Crusades, which took place in 9 separate campaigns from.
Well, yeah, obviously, because, that it was war. It was to take Jerusalem or the area of Israel back from another religion or faith. All right, now, the Israelites that were practicing Christianity, that wasn't the pure doctrine. All right, it was mixed with, idolatry. All right, so, yeah, we learned this like years ago. So this is I guess an error. I guess the point that the brother was trying to make, that Esau's a war about conquering other nations and is always involved in blood and stealing and lying, but the original Crusaders were Israelites.
1095 to 1291 common era. So that's just showing you right there that they've always been the one that do the things that they try to accuse other people of doing, man.
Well, let's do something better. Look up the numbers from World War I and World War II.
First saw then we'll go to Google and look this up and look that up. I remember when I first saw the trailer, the teaser for the movie Gladiator 2. I don't know if anybody saw it. If somebody saw it, put your say what you got to say in the chat, because I'm a little pissed off at Denzel, this whole kissing scene, but they took it out the movie. So what happened? He's paid. What the hell is he doing? Plus, I heard he stayed late at the Diddy party. Oh, I went to the Diddy party. I left early. I heard different. I heard he stuck around. So all these motherfuckers and shit ain't shit. But anyway. So he said, go to Google and look this up, look that up, and we do that, we'll say something about slavery, the white man, and so forth, and then we'll go to the facts. Slavery in America. So it's not like we're making shit up, you know, or we're not adding to shit. We're not adding to things. We're not embellishing. You know, with the things that we say, what Esau did to our people in slavery, really, we condensing it, brother. When you read them facts, Esau was a real terror. So anyway, you heard what the elder brother said, and it was, I got to correct that. He said during the time around 1000 to about almost 13, it was 1291. He said the Christian Crusaders killed a large number of people. I think it was over 1 million. You can go back and check it. And the first thing they said was, wait, no, those were Jakes. That was during that 1,000-year reign. Esau was under wraps. Esau didn't have no power. They wasn't fighting against us. We were kicking them in their asses.
So the 1,000-year period that the apostle was referring to. Got some icons here. St. George, 16th century. And this is a fraction. The icons are a fraction of the original images of, our ancestors that were ruling in Europe. So if people like this were ruling during the 14th century, we know the people that led the Crusades looked the same way. 17th century. It's probably older than that. The Knights. It's 18th century. 1880. Russia. Well, Russia, they know. They know. A lot of artwork was preserved in Russia. Greek icon. This had to have been during like the Dark Ages. Passion 1465, 1475. So there you go. So the icons, that's how we know. And we know our people fled during the different captivities. To be Assyrian, Assyro, Babylonian, Greek, Persian, Roman. They fled into all of the regions in the earth, north, south, east, and west, and we mainly took up a home or hold in Europe and in Africa. All right, so this is the European evidence here. Africa is self-evident. 17th century. Saint. 17th century. Holy Cross, 1680. So Lombardo, I think that's in Italy. All right, so the Crusaders, they were led by brown-skinned people, Israelites. Israelites ruled Europe, and they ruled, different parts of Africa. And we got in those places during the different captivities. All right, went north, west, and south, and east too. But we have the icons from, these are the European icons or the West Asian icons.
Esau didn't have no power. They wasn't fighting against us. We were kicking them in their asses. The people that they killed were the Arabs, because that was the war. The Turks took us over in the name of Allah, because the Turks were Kazakhs that embraced the religion of Islam, and you got the Turks, and then you got the Kazakhs. The rest of the Kazakhs, they embrace the law, statutes, and commandments. That's the whole thing about these small hats today. So let me do this and get the facts. Another thing, when you read about the Romans,
and what you got to understand too is that the Edomites they just didn't stay in one area. All right, you had Edomites that were in the steppes of Asia, Kazakhstan, all that, the whole area right there, Turkmenistan, and then you had Edomites that were farther west, in Khazaria, or between the Black and Caspian Sea.
And the Maccabees, they had a league with the Romans. Those Romans were sons of Japhet and mixed with Jake. Jake was mixing their seed with the sons of Japhet, plus they were Japhetic too.
Right, and so was Esau, and that's why people get confused, because I think Esau mixed his seed with Japhet and Jake mixed his seed with Japhet, and then they all identified as Romans, or they all identified as Greeks or Hellen, but they actually weren't ethnically the same. You had in Greece and in Rome, you had Japhites, Edomites, and Israelites, and they all identified with the region they were in. They all identified either as Hellen or Roman. All right.
Give you an example. The Rock. The Rock's father was a Jake. Last name is Johnson. They got with a beautiful what is he? I don't know if he's not Hawaiian. I believe he's Samoan. Which those are the sons of Japhet. So the Rock doesn't look like your average black man from down south. He has an exotic look to him. And that's from his mother, the mixture of his mother and his father. So when you read about the Romans in league with the Maccabees, those were sons of Japhet and Jake mingled among them. So let's go right here, right? And that's no big deal. That's why we check each other. You got to check. You got to think like the church. You got to have the spirit like the Church of Berea. The brother went off. He didn't go off because he was wicked. He went off. So I got to correct it.
This is Sirach 19 and 16. There is one that slippeth with his speech, but not from his heart. And who is he that hath not offended with his tongue? Yeah, so you made a mistake, but his point that he was making was still accurate. All right, but the people that he was referring to was not accurate. The Crusaders were were Israelites. And it also says, admonish thy neighbor before thou threaten him, and not being angry give place to the law of the Most High. Yeah, so if brothers going off, you have to correct them, admonish them. Sometimes it might be harsh, and sometimes it might be light and polite. All right, but before you threaten them, for with a consequence, correct them first, and then if you don't get right, then you threaten them with a consequence. All right, and that's according to the law, which is the Proverbs, the words of wisdom, and the law that was given to us on the mountain, Moses being the mediator. We also have the law of Yahushua that we received through the Holy Spirit. And I'll leave you with these two scriptures. Is Genesis 17:5. Neither shall thy name be called Abram, but thy name shall be called Abraham, for a father of many nations have I made thee. All right. So Israel is scattered all over the earth, in Europe, Africa, east, north, south, and west. All right. So we are divided in nation. We're still one nation. All right, because the nations that came out of Abraham that are not Israelites, I believe what the Arabs. That's it. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but yeah, the Arabs. All right, and then through the family line, the Arabs, and Arabs in Israel. Well, Esau. Okay, that's not a multitude. That's only three. All right, let me look up this. All right, so referring to the Israelites, we're partitioned into different nations depending on where we live. So that's the many nations. All right. Whether it be in Africa, whether it be in Europe, whether it be in the United States, North, Central, South America, or in China. All right. Because Abraham became the father of many nations. These are all the Israelites. And then you have the Arabs, Esau. All right. And these many nations, and the point is, these many nations are going to be saved. The Lord didn't say this because different nations of Esau was going to be begotten of him. All right. No, through Isaac, his son. But because these are the Israelites that are going to be ultimately saved and inherit the kingdom. And I will make thee exceedingly fruitful, and I will make nations of thee, kings shall come out of thy loins. Yeah, not just in the land of Canaan, all over the earth. Europe and Africa and the New World, North, Central, South America. All right. And I will establish my covenant between me and thee and thy seed. That's how we know that the many nations is referring to Israelites partitioned all over the earth. And not talking about the many nations of Esau, the many nations of Lot, Moab, Ammon, but Abraham's seed, which is through Isaac and through Jacob, Israel, the many nations that came out of them. All right. Which are partitioned based on no political divisions all over the earth, different countries. All right. And I will establish my covenant between me and thee. This is not the whole world. And thy seed after thee in their generations for an everlasting covenant to be a God unto thee and to thy seed after thee. So that seals it up. Okay. The many nations are referring to the Israelites partitioned all over in different kingdoms of the earth. All right. In Europe, Crusades, in Africa, in North, Central, South America, all right, and wherever we are scattered. But we got most of the artwork and the icons and the history mainly from Europe, Africa, North, Central, and South America. All right, and I will give it. Let's see, and there we go. So the Genesis 17 seals it up. The many nations, going back to Genesis, the 12th chapter. 17th chapter, well, the 12th chapter clarifies it, but the 17th chapter clarifies it even more. All right, and we can go to here. So Europe, Africa, all of the New World over here. Genesis 35, and the power said unto him, I am God Almighty, be fruitful, multiply. A nation and a company of nations shall be of thee, and kings shall come out of thy loins. In the land which I gave unto Abraham and Isaac, to thee will I give it, and to thy seed after thee will I give it. All right. So a company of nations. All right. Two nations would be in the land of Israel. Anywhere outside of that would be included in the company of nations. So you had Northern Kingdom, own nation, Southern Kingdom, own nation in the land of Israel. Then if you had Israelites that was in Greece and Rome, and in Thrace, and in the steppes of Asia or West, North, and the Norsemen in Norway and in Britain and Spain, and all right. If our people went over there and they were set up as the authorities, that goes in with the promise of and prophecy of kings coming out of our loins, out of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob's loins. All right. A company of nations. All right. Remember, only two can be in the land of Israel, Northern Kingdom and Southern Kingdom. All right. That doesn't equal a company of nations. All right. That only equals two nations, Northern Kingdom, Southern Kingdom, upon their partition. Together, it would be just one. If it was just the kingdom of Israel, then it would be just one nation. Then when they split apart, two. And then they start migrating all over the world, in Africa and Europe and in the New World, there you get your company of nations. So I'll leave the Apostles video in the description box. Hope you're edified. Shalom.